Self-deportation is easier for everyone. President Trump is trying to make it even more attractive. Free flights, $1,000 payments if you leave sua sponte. It costs about $17,000 to remove someone, so it's a net savings for you. It may also preserve an immigrant's ability to come here lawfully in the future. Joining us is former DHS Senior Advisor Charles Marino. Welcome, sir. Why is self-deportation better for everyone, including the immigrant who hopes to maybe one day come here lawfully and stay?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of incentives to self-deport here. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see it become the majority of the segments that are leaving the country until there are repercussions, like not being allowed back into the country if you are caught by ICE and forced deportation takes place that way. But I think the self-deportation will start to go up more and more based on those initiatives that allow you to come back into the country legally as enforcement is being stepped up here. We're seeing the Trump administration firing on all cylinders, casting a wide net, prioritizing the criminals and national security threats, but also this self-deportation option is a good option and in the end saves taxpayers money if it's taken and acted upon.
Well, let's listen to someone whose engine stopped working, the senator who visited El Salvador but has not managed to visit the victims of violent crime, and then I'll talk to you about it on the other side.
Your campaign of fear and repression is eating away at foundational values of our democracy. And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job. About the student visas, let me say this. I don't deport anybody, and I don't snatch anybody. The State Department does not have officers in the street snatching everybody. What I do is revoke visas, and it's very simple. A visa is not a right, it is a privilege.
Chris Van Hollen is going to lose a verbal fight with Marco Rubio. I can promise him that. Due process may be right, but coming here on visa is not, and crossing the border without permission is not. Does the senator from Maryland ever talk about the Americans who are repressed by violence, or is it only folks in El Salvador right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, Democrats, including the senator, have decided that this is the hill they want to die on. They want to come out. They want to defend cartel members, gang members, violent criminals, national security threats, as opposed to standing up for their constituents. This is tragic, and it cost the left the presidential election, and they still don't understand this, why they are, continuing to stick up and support these very violent people that have violated our immigration laws and continue to prey on American citizens is unbelievable. And they need to be held accountable. Unfortunately, this all comes down to the voters in their district, and they have to be fed up to vote these people out of office.
All right, Chris Van Hollen is a lost cause, but for those watching who say, okay, I'm open-minded, rank the priorities in terms of deportation. I would imagine it's criminals first, people who have absconded and failed to appear for court. Well, what's the deportation hierarchy from your perspective?
That's exactly right. It needs to be a prioritized approach. And look, this is not only from Republicans. We've seen a prioritized approach under Democrats, like President Obama, the deporter-in-chief. You go after those criminal national security threats. You go after those that are violating their visas, that are supporting terrorist organizations and inciting violence. You go after those that are not showing up for their immigration hearings, and you go down the list that way. Democrats are supportive of sanctuary cities, but yet the policies of sanctuary cities are getting out the people that they don't want to have removed from the country. And those that came in here illegally aren't committing any additional crimes. But because sanctuary cities aren't allowed to work with ICE, what's happening is they're casting that wide net once again. And if they're identifying those in the country committing crimes and they come across somebody that's in the country illegally, guess what? They're not going to turn their back on that. And those people are also going to be deported.
Charles, the curse of going to law school is that you really do try to see both sides. I do not see the other side when it comes to sanctuary cities literally harboring and protecting people from being deported who have either been accused of or adjudicated of committing violent crimes. I don't see that side of the argument. Am I missing something?
No, you're not. I say it a different way, Trey, and that is the policies of sanctuary cities fly in the face of common sense when it comes to not only protecting those communities, but also the United States. So how these policies are allowed to be implemented within the United States, and then these jurisdictions still expect to receive federal public safety grants from taxpayers. It's contradictory. It should not be allowed. The same types of actions that we're taking with student visas, we should be taking with grants going to sanctuary cities. The American people should not have to support financially these poor policies that only endanger the country.
Yeah, you can always count on the American people to have more common sense, for the most part, than the people they elect to represent them. Charles Marino, thank you for loaning us your insight. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you and your family.
Same to you, Trek. Thank you. Same to you.